Dāsa Diya Parachaya Shoro He Amai Tumara Charana Dhori Diya Parachaya Shoro He Amaya Tumara Charana Dhori Chaya Bhega Domi Chaya Dhosha Shodhi Chaya Guna Deho Dāsa Chaya Veda Domi Chaya Dhosha Shodhi Chaya Guna Deho Dāsa Chaya Satsanga Deo Amare Boshashi Sangirashe Chaya Satsanga Deo Amare Boshashi Sangirashe Ekakiyama Nahi Parvalo Hare Nama Sankirtane Ekakiyamaya Nahi Parvalo Hare Nama Sankirtane Tumi Kripa Kore Sharabindu Diya Deho Krishna Nama Dhane Tumi Kripa Kori Shradhabindu Diya Deho Krishna Nama Dhane Krishna se tomar Krishna jite paro Tumara shakti ache Amito Ganga Krishna Krishna Boli Daitava Pache Pache Amito Ganga Krishna Krishna Boli Daitava Pache Pache Oh hey Vaishnava Thakur Doyara Sagara Idase Koruna Kori Vaishnava Thakur Doyara Sagara Idase Koruna Kori Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Parama Karuna Pavandvi. Is there another harmonium? Can somebody grab the other harmonium? And send this one to the doctor. Parama Karuna Pavandvi Jana Nitai Gaura Chandra Dvijana. Parama Kuruna Ahudvijana. Nitai Gaurachandra. Savavata Sarashiramani Kevalananda Kanda. Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudra Vishwasa Kori. Vishaya Charya Sherase Majya Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari. Tegore Pai Tribhavani Emono Dhoyala Gata. Pashu Bhaki Jure Pashana Vidare Shune Jar Gunagata. Samshari Mujya Rohili Poriya Shepade Nahi Lohasha. Apana karama gunjai samana koi lochana dasa. Parama kuruna bahundijana Nitai Gaurachandra. Nitai Gaurachandra. Haribo Nitai Gaura, Haribo. Sargo Premanande, Hari Haribo. Chapter 12, Bhagavad Gita. English, because everybody knows the Sanskrit. And nobody knows the English. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone. Such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always, without a doubt. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. If, however, wait, stop. Hold it. Neatness counts. Don't just ram through. Stop at the commas and be in unison, please. It's an offering. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all the results of your work and try to be self-situated. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, for by such renunciation one can attain peace of mind. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Guru Puja prayers, please. Chariya Vaishnava Seva Nishtaya Payiche Kiva Charya Vaishnava Seva Nistaya Vayeche Keva. Namah is that where we're starting? Namah Shreshtam Manamapi Shachi Putra Matra Sarupam Rupam Tasya Grajam Uruparim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurun Tam Natosmi. He Guru Jnanada Dina Bandho Swananda Data Kodadaika Sindho Vrindavana Sina Hitavatara Prasida Radha Pranaya Prachara. He Dina Bandho Kodanaika Sindho Kuru Prasada Maimanda Mude Laksha Parade Bahupapa Gadhe Tatpada Padme Stumatishta Krishna Yadyapi Amara Guru Chaitanya Radas Tatapi Jani Amitahara Prakash Guru Krishna Rupaya Shastra Praramni Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena Bhakta Gane Shiksha Guru Keta Jani Krishna Rasarupa Antaryami Bhakta Shreshta Eduri Rupa Naivo Payantya Pachitim Kavayastavesha Brahmayushapi Kridam Ridamudasmaranta Yontar Bahistanupratam Ashubam Badunvan Acharya Chaitya Vapusha Swagatim Yanakti. Without serving the representative of Krishna, nobody can approach Krishna. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Shachi Mata, the association of Srila Sarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kunda and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Shri Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss, and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudev, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a dull fool and have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into a dense myriad of sins. Therefore grace me with your mercy, so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet and on Sri Krishna. Although I know that my spiritual master is a servitor of Sri Chaitanya, I know him also as a plenary manifestation of the Lord. Every living entity is eternally a servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Therefore, the spiritual master cannot be other than a servant of Lord Chaitanya. The spiritual master's eternal occupation is to expand the service of the Lord by training disciples in a service attitude. According to the deliberate opinion of all revealed scriptures, the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the form of the spiritual master, delivers his devotees. The relationship of a disciple with his spiritual master is as good as his relationship with the Supreme Lord. Spiritual masters always represent themselves as the humblest servitors of the personality of Godhead, but the disciple must look upon the spiritual master as the manifested representation of Godhead. One should know the instructing spiritual master to be the personality of Krishna. Lord Krishna manifests himself as the Supersoul and as the greatest devotee of the Lord. The initiating spiritual master is a personal manifestation of Srila Madan Mohan Vigraha, whereas the instructing spiritual master is a personal representative of Srila Govinda Dev. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Supersoul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which you can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and attain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread with all the three worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You can blow a conch. Would you sing? And we'll go all the way until 8.
Should I do Maha Mantra as well?
Yeah.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Bando mui savadhana mate. Jahara prasade bhai, he bhav tori aaya. Jahara prasade arna kori ho mane acha. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Utama Gati. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Acha. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Acha. चक्षुदान दिलो दे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से. चक्षुदान दिलो दे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से. दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति आहते अविद्या विनाशयते. प्रेम भक्ति Krishna prestaya bhutale Shrimate bhakti vedanta Swami niti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajkacharya Stottar Shata Shri Srimad Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajkacharya Stottar Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunde Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki. Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki. Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki. Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Today we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, text number 8, in the matter of questions by the sages. As we may all be aware, or not, the sages gathered at Naimisharanya to find remedies for those who would suffer in the upcoming age of Kali. And they had to switch speakers because there's a way in which the first speaker was unqualified. He had not represented the Supreme Personality of Godhead properly. Interestingly, he had full knowledge of the Shastras. However, when Balaram came to visit on his pilgrimage, he had not stood up to respect him. One should respect the spiritual master and all advanced devotees by standing up and recognizing their presence, acknowledging them. Otherwise, one's life airs become suppressed, and a further result might be that you're executed on the spot. As was the case with Romaharshan, because he had brought Balaramji's attention to the fact that he was not as advanced as he thought he was. He was holding forth before sages. In such a situation, one should consider oneself a servant. The servant, a million times removed. And not as a learned person, but as a representative dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivusto mataksmitir jnanam aponam cha. My friend Bhagavad Ashraya Prabhu told me that when he first met Charu, our dear godbrother who recently moved on to some other really huge service somewhere, he had asked him, as a respected senior godbrother, that is Charu was his senior godbrother, about how one could become humble. And Charu immediately responded that you should remember that at any moment you could be struck dumb. You could not be able to speak by the will of the Lord or by the power of the material nature, and you have nothing to say about it, literally. And so Ramaharshan had the wrong mood, and he was summarily executed by Balaram, who touched him with a kusha straw or a blade of grass. And there's more to that story, but that's not my main point. I'll move on from there. The sages then had elevated, or as Balaram's idea, to elevate Sutta, son of Ramaharshan, to the throne. They had, the sages, given benedictions to Ramaharshan that he would live a long life, and now that was not to pass. So that benediction was transferred to Sutta. Sutta then assumes the Vyasasana, the seat from which one represents Vyasadeva. Dvaipayana Vyasadeva is our Vyasadeva. Vyasa is a general term. It just means one who edits, one who collates and distributes the knowledge of the Vedas. And Sutta, upon taking the seat of esteem, is praised by the sages at Naimisharanya. So in this verse 8, we find the glorification of Sutta, not an empty glorification, but it's pronouncing his qualification to sit on the seat. So we'll see that in 1 second. Or 2. It's 1:1:8. And the verse is as follows. I'll read the translation first. And because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all their favors. And because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple. Therefore, you can tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them. And the purport, as we're waiting for it to come on the board. The secret of success in spiritual life is satisfying the spiritual master and thereby getting his sincere blessings. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has sung in his famous 8 stanzas of the spiritual master as follows. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Only by his satisfaction can one please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when he is dissatisfied, there is only havoc on the path of spiritual realization. It is essential, therefore, that a disciple be very much obedient and submissive to the bona fide spiritual master. Srila Sutta Goswami fulfilled all these qualifications as a disciple, and therefore he was endowed with all favors by his learned and self-realized spiritual masters such as Srila Vyasadeva and others. The sages at Naimisharanya were confident that Srila Sutta Goswami was bona fide. Therefore, they were very anxious to hear from him. And I'll read the word for word. Please repeat. Veta. You are well conversant. Tvam. Your honor. Saumya. One who is pure and simple. Tat. That. Sarvam. All. Tatvataha. In fact. Tat. There. Anugrahat. By the favor of. Bruyu. Will tell. Snigtasya. of the one who is submissive, Shishyasya, of the disciple, Guravaha, the spiritual masters, Kuhyam, secret, Api Utta, endowed with. And the translation is as follows. And because you are submissive, please repeat, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple. Therefore, you can tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them. I first offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to all the previous acharyas, and to all the assembled devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripasindhave evacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Veta tvam saumya tat sarvam tat fatas tadanugraha bruyu snigdasya shishyasya guravam kuhyam apyuta. The word saumya means gentle or submissive. And this is a quality that Krishna mentions in various places as a prerequisite for knowledge. For instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, starting with 8 through 13, he mentions the qualities that allow one to understand what's beyond material nature. And it starts with amanitvam, which means that in its related word, amanitvam means without man, or a sense of self-importance. There's also the definition of humility, or to be humble. One hasn't a inflated opinion of one's self or one's own abilities. Manidvam. And Saumya means gentle. Even the word sounds soft itself, Saumya. And we also have Snigdasya in this verse, the one who is submissive. And this is a point that Prabhupada brings out in the Adi Lila, first chapter, and if I'm not incorrect, it's verse number 45. If it is, pardon me. 45. Where he mentions the importance of being submissive. And it's a remarkable verse, 55. I will read it to you, free of charge. $55. The verse is from the Bhagavatam, that is being recited by Kaviraj Goswami. It's from the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. As the material elements enter the bodies of all living beings and yet remain outside them all, I exist within all material creations and yet am not within them. And here we go for some practice of hearing. So if you wish, you can lean in with your attention to this purport. The gross material elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, combine with the subtle material elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego, to construct the bodies of this material world, and yet they are beyond these bodies as well. Any material construction is nothing but an amalgamation or combination of material elements in varied proportions. These elements exist both within and beyond the body. For example, although the sky exists in space, it also enters within the body. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, who is the cause of the material energy, lives within the material world as well as beyond it. Without his presence within the material world, the cosmic body could not develop. Just as without the presence of the spirit within the physical body, the body could not develop. The entire material manifestation develops and exists because the Supreme Personality of Godhead enters it as Paramatma, or the Supersoul. The personality of Godhead, in his all-pervading feature of Paramatma, enters every entity, from the biggest to the most minute. His existence can be realized by one who has the single qualification of submissiveness, and who thereby becomes a surrendered soul. The development of submissiveness is the cause of proportionate spiritual realization, by which one can ultimately meet the Supreme Lord in person as a man meets another face to face. Because of his development of transcendental attachment for the Supreme Lord, a surrendered soul feels the presence of his beloved everywhere, and all his senses are engaged in the loving service of the Lord. His eyes are engaged in seeing the beautiful couple, Sri Radha and Krishna, sitting on a decorated throne beneath a desire tree in the transcendental land of Vrindavan. His nose is engaged in smelling the spiritual aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, his ears are engaged in hearing messages from Vaikuntha, and his hands embrace the lotus feet of the Lord and his associates. Thus the Lord is manifested to a pure devotee from within and without. This is one of the mysteries of the devotional relationship in which a devotee and the Lord are bound by a tie of spontaneous love. To achieve this love should be the goal of life for every living being. And similarly, in a related way, which is what similarly means, in chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita, we also find a very interesting verse where Krishna mentions the power of submissiveness. And he's speaking in chapter 13 about the presence of the Supersoul. And he touches upon how one might perceive the Supersoul. He mentions how some perceive the Supersoul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires. Then we come to this verse, this is 13:26, which is a seeming outlier, because it's related to something that most people aren't concerned with in the material world, and that's submissiveness. In this text, he says, again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. You could see the case I'm making here, that one might not have the tendency to hear from others. It's well known in academic circles that once one forms a hypothesis and begins to do research on it, and especially if you get a grant, you're loath to then backtrack and say, well, maybe this hypothesis is bunk. But people generally hold on to their positions based on their involvement with the three modes of material nature, because they have a sense of their own opinions being all important, even though they're not. And here's the purport. This verse is particularly applicable to modern society, because in modern society there is practically no education in spiritual matters. Some of the people may appear to be atheistic or agnostic or philosophical, but actually there is no knowledge of philosophy. As for the common man, if he is a good soul, then there is a chance for advancement by hearing. This hearing process is very important. Lord Chaitanya, who preached Krishna consciousness in the modern world, gave great stress to hearing, because if the common man simply hears from authoritative sources, he can progress, especially according to Lord Chaitanya, if he hears the transcendental vibration, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is stated, therefore, that all men should take advantage of hearing from realized souls and gradually become able to understand everything. The worship of the Supreme Lord will then undoubtedly take place. Lord Chaitanya has said that in this age, no one needs to change his position, but one should give up the endeavor to understand the absolute truth by speculative reasoning. One should learn to become the servant of those who are in knowledge of the Supreme Lord. If one is fortunate enough to take shelter of a pure devotee, hear from him about self-realization and follow in his footsteps, one will be gradually elevated to the position of a pure devotee. This is, in this verse, particularly the process of hearing is strongly recommended, and this is very appropriate. Although the common man is often not as capable as so-called philosophers, faithful hearing from an authoritative person will help one transcend this material existence and go back home, back to Godhead. And of course, in the purport, Prabhupada's referring to Lord Brahma, who in the 10th canto, 14th chapter says, Jnane priyasam udapasya namante eva jivanti san mukaditam babadiyavartam. Stane stita shutikatam tanuvan mano birye prayaso jitta diso pyasitais trilokyam. It's hard to do those two J's at the end. This verse was spoken by Lord Brahma, who is an intellectual. In fact, he studied the Vedas 3 times. How many here have studied all the Vedas 3 times? Or the Bhagavad Gita, for that matter. So he had studied them 3 times. He's smart enough to take on the duties of recreating the material world when it comes into being. Of course, he's a devotee. He met Krishna in Vrindavan. We know the pastime of how Krishna had bewildered him. It's Brahma Vimohana Lila. He was bewildered by the mystic power of Krishna. When Brahma had stolen away his calves and coward friends, Krishna remanifested them exactly as they were before. So there were 2 sets, one that Brahma had stolen and the ones that were now marching around town. So after seeing that all of them were emanations from Krishna and realizing that this little cowherd boy who was eating with his left hand was not to be trifled with, that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he offered these prayers. And in the beginning of his prayers, near the beginning, Jnane priyasa udapasya namanta eva says, give up trying to understand God by your own power. And stane stita shutikatam tanavan, submissively hear in the association of devotees about Krishna. And from that, one will come to this superior form of devotional service, which means that Krishna is conquered by your love and submission. Jitta jiso. Jito. Jitta jito. The ajita becomes jitta. Means he's conquered by love. So how can one come to that position? Not by erudite scholarship, but by humbly and submissively hearing from those who have knowledge, as Prabhupada points out here, and being submissive in one's service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there's such a thing as submissive hearing. There's also an argumentative state of mind. Of course, it doesn't mean that we can't discuss thoroughly threadbare the Siddhanta, Bhalya Chitanakara Alash, Iha Hoite Krishna Loged Sudrid Manash. Kaviraj Goswami says, we should discuss thoroughly threadbare to come to the conclusion of Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But there's also another verse that Krishna himself says to Uddhava, that those who simply argue for the sake of arguing are ignoring me and the real purpose of life. These are a few preliminary thoughts, more than I thought I'd say in the very beginning, but I'd like to take some questions. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for choosing this verse. I'm just meditating that tomorrow His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, my spiritual master, I was really meditating how to serve and how to please him. I have a question. A spiritual master may have many hundreds and thousands of devotees, disciples. Many disciples have a desire to serve his spiritual master, but they don't have any close association or any personal service. How do the disciple know that he is pleasing his spiritual master? How to carry that mood all the time, even though he is serving distant, very distinct? I would like to know.
There are general instructions. There may be specific instructions one can get. Sureshwara Prabhu is a godbrother of mine who, during a particular era in ISKCON, felt slightly discontented because he wanted to have more up-close personal association with Prabhupada. Therefore, when Prabhupada came to Hawaii and was on a morning walk, Sureshwara Prabhu decided that he would get close to Prabhupada no matter what, which means practically in a throng of devotees, there was jockeying for position in the ways that you might see in a racehorse, that people try to gain an advantage by one step and then moving in front of somebody else and moving when there's a gap in front of another. If anybody's had that experience, you want to get somewhere and then you find the gaps and you cut in. That might be the graceful way of doing it, but there's also elbows involved. In any case, Sureshwara Prabhu, who's a perfect gentleman, but who is feeling that I'm a disciple, I should get close. And during that morning walk, he got closer and closer and closer and closer until he had approached Prabhupada and he was right behind him, and then Prabhupada stopped. Because Prabhupada stopped during morning walks to make points. He would sometimes plant his cane and then speak something authoritative. And with the momentum that Sureshwara Prabhu had, he ended up, as he describes, his nose this far away from the back of Prabhupada's beautiful, glowing, prasadam-like head. And he said in that very second where he felt slightly foolish because he had pushed to come close and now he was close and he was a half an inch away, he thought, it's true that physical proximity is not all. If I carry in my heart the order of the spiritual master, which is a message from Krishna. It's the spiritual master, as Prabhupada explained, is a peon. The peon means carrier of the message. The person who comes from a company, let's say Toyota, because let's face it, there's no better car. It gets closer. Sorry, Tesla people. When the representative of Toyota comes, we'll give all respect because that person's coming authoritatively to present a contract or whatever negotiation we're going to have. So he saw that wherever I am, if I'm holding the order of the spiritual master to be dear and I'm following it, just as Prabhupada mentioned, he was never alone because he was always considering how to fulfill the order of the spiritual master. Prabhupada writes in the Chaturshloki section of the Bhagavatam, second canto, in a purport, that the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is non-different from the Lord. It's no difference. And he said it's by the execution of that order that one comes to see the Lord face to face. And Prabhupada expressed in similar ways his focus on the order of the spiritual master. Vyavasayatmika bhutir ekeha kurunandana. What does that mean? According to our acharyas, it means to have single-minded focus on the order of the spiritual master. If one is engaged in such a way, when by good fortune the association, one gets close proximity, then you'll have something to say, or your very presence will be of some value. If we try to invade the space or get closer or jockey for position, it won't do us much good. But if we tend to the order of the spiritual master, connect ourselves to that order, and live it, there may be a time that we come in contact directly, and at that time there will be something notable that spiritual master may have heard or doing such service. This happened in Prabhupada's case. He had very little association in the beginning with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He had gone to a yatra, and by the way, Prabhupada at that time in his business life was so busy that he could only afford to go for 1 day out of 10 to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's yatra. Shouldn't do that for our yatras, though. It's all or nothing. No. And when he got there, there was an opportunity for devotees to go see a deity that would only be, it was the last day, they could all go there. Or Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would be speaking in the pandal. Most people went to see the deity. Prabhupada just got there, he wanted to hear from his spiritual master, and he sat attentively and listened. And later, much later, when Prabhupada was in Alalanath, no, not Alalanath, in, Allahabad. It was one of those Allahas. Allahabad. He was in Allahabad. He had moved there to start a branch of his pharmaceutical company, and he'd helped the local devotees there develop it, and he'd become very much involved with the temple. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came there to give initiations, and the local devotees had recommended him and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, yes, I have marked him, that he likes to hear, he does not go away. And as Indradyumna Maharaj was saying the other day when he was giving initiation at Sadhu Sangha, he had asked Tamal Krishna Maharaj, what is the qualification of a disciple? And he said, Guru Nishta, has faith in the Guru. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta perceived that within him and immediately wanted to give him initiation. So, although we may find a way to engineer closeness, it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be close. In fact, one might come into proximity of an advanced devotee and then not really know what to say or do. And there might be awkwardness, there might even be offense. One might not know how to sit properly in front of the guru or the advanced devotee. So we should concentrate on taking advantage of what we have, what service we've been given, and Krishna can make all arrangements, as he did for Dhruva Maharaj. That indicates Dhruva's running away from home with hot tears, wanting to get revenge and claim a kingship greater than even his grandfather. And he was intercepted by Narada Muni. Prabhupada then asked the question, how did Narada know about this incident? And Prabhupada says, because he was informed within the heart, as everybody else is. And therefore he was there to intercept him before he went to the forest, test him, and then give him proper instruction. So all our advancement comes from this sincere desire to fulfill the order of Krishna through the authorized chain of authority that comes from Krishna, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And if we attend to that, then more opportunities than we'll know what to do with will come to bear in our lives. So we can always desire to meet with the spiritual master, but there can also be those who desire to fulfill the order of the spiritual master, come what may. I was in San Francisco in 1974 when Prabhupada came. I joined in 73, came soon after for Rath Yatra. He used to stay, the place is still there, I checked it out, the apartment's there. It's 1 block away from the old temple on Valencia Street, of which there's 1 wall left. It's a construction method where you don't tear the whole place down. You get a lot of concessions from the permit department. If you leave one part up, yeah, you know this, right? You've been building stuff. So, anyways, that's besides the point. Prabhupada was there, and he used to stay at the apartment of Jayananda Prabhu and Keshav Bharti, who lived together in an apartment, and their 2 wives. They'd move out, they'd paint the place, Prabhupada would move in. He came there twice when I was there. And we all, because we're just a little sangha, we all got to go up and see Prabhupada. And Jayananda Prabhu, who I'm sure you've heard of, was working. He didn't have a dhoti on even. He had working clothes. I wouldn't go to a construction site in a dhoti. It's not great for snowboarding or anything like that either. Must be practical for something, I don't know. In any case, there was a lot of sense of pecking order and hierarchy who got to sit closer to Prabhupada. Those who were notable leaders, had taken on responsibility, and rightly so, got close proximity to Prabhupada. Others, Johnny-come-latelys, we'd move to the back. Jayananda, he came in from working on the Rath Yatra cart, which he did with great gusto. It's well known. And he sat in the back of the room. And who's the first person that Prabhupada noticed? It was Jayananda. Because he knew, first of all, he saw Jayananda when he came. He was driving a cab, and he didn't look like anybody else. Everybody else, most others, looked a little bit the product of the age, which is age of Aquarius. And he was a cab driver, and Foursquare, you can see pictures of him. But we always knew him with grease on his pants from fixing cars or the Rath Yatra cart and so forth. And he came in, sat in the back, and Prabhupada noticed him and mentioned him, brought him up. It's reminiscent of a pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during his 24-hour holding forth as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the house of Srivas Pandit, where many were serving, many of his most intimate associates were close to him. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu picked out a person in the back who was not known to anyone except for Srivas and his family, because she served there in the house. And she was so eagerly and expertly arranging water pots for the bathing. Among the crowd, he picked her out and said, "Who is that?" He noticed her and gave her an affectionate name, Suki, changing from Duki, whoever gave her that name. The point is there that don't try to see Krishna, try to act in such a way that he'll want to see you. That was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's methodology, and he also, if you read Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav, there's a whole chapter on darshan. Darshan, we say, I'm going to go see the Lord. He said, no, you're not going to go see the Lord. You're going to go be seen by the Lord. In fact, we're seen by the Lord all the time. He's always watching us from within the heart. He's the witness. So how are we acting? And it's uncanny how Krishna can arrange things. If we attend to our services submissively, wherever we may be, Krishna knows it. And he makes arrangements for us to have association that matches our mood. And if we have this mood, I only want Krishna, I only want to serve, I'm humble, then Krishna will make an arrangement so that you come closer so you can take an advantage of it. And I'm repeating because I like the point. And that is, we're only able to take advantage of association according to our appreciating capacity. If we're watching movies and eating, what are those? Jujubes? They don't have those here. You guys don't know what that is. I don't know. What? Pringles. Should put the fear of God in you. And, if you're not acting properly and you come into the association of someone very advanced, you won't even be able to see them. You won't know that that person's advanced. We only resonate. Music, it's only till you really try to study it do you have pertinent questions to ask your teacher. If you don't do your lessons during the week, you come to your teacher says, do you have any questions? And you say, nope. They say, you didn't practice, did you? Not really. So it's similar for us. And so the devotees in ISKCON, they had in the early days intimate connection with Prabhupada, but in the first segment of that saga, they made him wait in line to use the restroom. What did they know? They gradually knew more and more, and therefore they gradually addressed him respectfully. What do you think of the answer? Go ahead and comment, just whatever realization you have about what I said.
It really helps. I got the point that be sincere in your service. The opportunities Krishna will arrange for you. Yeah, I'll take that point.
Yeah, summarized.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Devarata, okay. Go ahead, Richard.
I had a really fun time at Sadhu Sangha while book distributing. I did a lot of books. I had lots of fun doing my chanting and the kirtans. But one time when I was chanting around late at night because I didn't finish a couple rounds, it pondered upon me from my previous Chaitanya Charitamrita reading that all of us are living entities and we all have souls with different connections with Krishna. So I was wondering how each of our connections get determined with Krishna, and from our previous lives, how it changes and everything between our connections.
So nitya sambandha prakritischa paraivasa. Brahma Samhita says that all of us have an eternal relationship with Krishna. So nitya sambandha, we're already related to him in a particular way. And then we find that Rupa Goswami mentions in Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavasa saranabhira nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridisadyata. An important verse talking about this way in which we come to know more about our relationship with Krishna. Prakatyam, you know the word prakash. It means there's an illumination. Prakatyam shridi, within the heart. Sadyata, because of our practice. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sa saranabhida. There's a beginning process, which is the sadhana, which is by rules and regulations in the beginning, and then it develops naturally. So Rupa Goswami says, by that practice, the practice you're doing, pregnant within that practice, there's bhava. Bhava means emotion that arises within the heart, and it comes when the heart is touched by a ray of the internal potency. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Shuddha Sattva. What's the verse? Mrishinyar. Mrishinya means that there's a melting of the heart when the ray of the internal potency touches the heart through your practice and Krishna's mercy and being submissive. And from that, then the heart softens. And within that softening of the heart, there's a realization of one's relationship with Krishna. I also quoted the other day at Sadhu Sangha, Evam vrata swapriya namakirtya jatanurago drita chuta uchar hasatyato rautiti rauti gayati unmadavam rititi lokabhayaha. In this verse, it's particularly mentioned and commentated upon by our acharyas that by the practice of chanting Hare Krishna, then the heart melts, dhruta chitta, and one gravitates towards a particular form of the Lord as one advances in the practice of devotional service, especially as the heart becomes dhruta, or melted. What's the verse, Srivas?
Suddha Sattva.
Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Surya Samyabhak.
Suryam Susamyabhak.
Next, just do the whole verse.
Shuddha Sattva
Visheshatma.
Visheshatma Prema Surya Susamyabhak Ruchibis Chinmayashranya Krita Sobhava Uchate.
There's a beautifully poetic verse, but it's the tattva of how one awakens one's relationship with Krishna. Prema Suryamsu. Prema means Suryamsu. Surya means like a ray from Surya. Amshu. Surya Amshu means sun ray. Not Surya, but it's Surya Amshu. Samyabhak. When one receives that by being submissive and practicing properly, then there's a way in which Mrishinya, the heart becomes soft. One begins to experience mellows. This is described, it's a word Prabhupada inherited from his spiritual master, mellows, of a taste for Krishna. If one's chanting Hare Krishna and then the heart begins to melt, then one has, as an individual, a particular way of wanting to worship Krishna that awakens. Prakatyam Hridi Sadyata, it's illuminated, it awakens. Okay, so there was, you have a point, and then we will go to the big board with Devavrata.
So, like magic, the microphone appeared here, I didn't notice.
That's how it works.
I have a question regarding the disciple-guru relationship, kind of in being that submissive mood, humble mood. And we know how to make our spiritual master happy by following Srila Prabhupada's instructions, right? So we're chanting, we're hearing, we're reading, we're distributing books, we're distributing the glories of the holy name of Krishna. At the same time, I've heard advice, or some people, they go to the Diksha Guru, ask for blessings. But isn't he already gives us blessings when he accepts us as a disciple? And then also with there's a desire to check on big decisions in life. At the same time, am I qualified to receive a personal instruction from the Guru Maharaj? So I'm hesitant how to approach Diksha Guru in such life situations.
Well, you might remember Raghunath Das Goswami, when he went to Jagannath Puri, he finally was able to break free from his family not due to lack of trying, but because his family were quite eager to hold him back. And when he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu handed him over to Swarup Damodar and said, "You're the Raghunatha of Swarup Damodar." Because there was no difference between the instruction of Swarup Damodar and Lord Chaitanya. In fact, Kaviraj Goswami says they're equal. No difference between the two. He was so advanced. So, although that was the case, he did mention to Swarup Damodar, "I want something personal from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." And he gave them the instruction that Raghunath Das Goswami followed incrementally throughout his life, which was don't eat nice food, don't dress nicely. That's not for us, by the way. The different instructions for different people. And he said, don't listen, this part is what materialistic people say. And that was an instruction that he gave, but in the presence of Swarup Damodar, and as a request from his representative. So we may have that. One of the greatest advantages of having a Diksha Guru, Prabhupada mentions right in this Adi Lila, and I recommend that anybody who wants to know Guru Tattva, or just as in the course of being a devotee, should read the Adi Lila all the way through. But the first chapter itself, Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, it's about Guru Tattva. And in this section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which I just quoted from today, we find Prabhupada says that accepting a Diksha Guru is necessary because just as a child needs parents in order to mature, you need parents to mature. So similarly, one needs guru. And parents means family, the family of devotees. We gain so much from our siblings, our God siblings. Of course, by the time I joined the Krishna conscious movement in 1973, there were a lot of them. And we already had some generational distinction between various ones. And as Prabhupada writes in a purport, we should look up to those God brothers and God sisters who have been there before us, especially who have made advancement, as representatives of the spiritual master. And we should take help from them. In fact, we find that mostly people get socialized, integrated into the group because of the disciples, not so much because they're with the spiritual master and living in the same house. That was possible for a few of the disciples, who I already mentioned, had to come up to the level to be able to appreciate what they were even doing there. But we can take advantage of that. Yes, it's a blessing, obviously, to take initiation from the spiritual master. It's extremely meaningful. And to get some instruction, well, I mean, with Srila Radhanath Maharaj, he gives instructions all the time that can be taken to heart. And if you're, again, going back to the point, if you're doing service, it generally comes to the surface somewhere. Those who are attending to their service, maybe even just minding their own business, someone might say, yeah, but you should notice that one over there because he or she is doing this or that. If you do meaningful service, generally there'll be some recognition by Krishna's arrangement. If one was not able to associate with Prabhupada personally, which most people weren't after 1970, rare circumstances, one has an entire library of his instructions, has the support of those who have asked questions to Prabhupada, and still there are people on the planet that ask Prabhupada questions, and I notice a difference between those who had personal association with Prabhupada. I get so much out of their association of my senior God brothers. I always feel relieved and improved by having their association to understand Prabhupada's methodology and his mood as well. So there's a zeitgeist, there's an environment that we take advantage of. We may have single-pointed attention on serving our spiritual master, but we also, as we read this morning, there's Vande Gurun. In the culture of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, guru is not singular, it's plural. Gurun means plural. There are many gurus. In fact, we find in the beginning, as I recommended this chapter of the Adi Lila, we begin with honoring the Vartmana Pradakshika Guru, the one who shows the path. In the case of Bilvamangal Thakur, he talks about, he gives the example of Chintamani, who was, girlfriend, who said, if you were this serious about spiritual life, as coming over to my house all the time, you'd be like a Paramahamsa. He's like, yeah, I never thought of that. So he offers obeisances. Thank you, Krishna, for coming to me in the form of Chintamani. And then there are Gurun, you can have one Diksha Guru, because the Diksha Guru gives you the mantra. It's like planting the seed. And Shiksha Gurus help to water the seed. So which is more important? Planting the seed or watering the seed? She was supposed to answer. Are they equally important? Again, she was supposed to answer. They are. They work together in concert with one another. And this is the most ideal of circumstances, when we have the opportunity to associate with devotees who are supportive. There are Shiksha Gurus who are giving us instructions in harmony with the Diksha Guru, the Diksha Gurus in harmony with the Shiksha Gurus. We find that wherever Rannath Maharaj goes, because he's selfless. And he'll say, just follow the local authority. And thereby, with one fell swoop of his pen, he eliminates unlimited grief for everybody. Because if we try to secularize and say, only my guru and nobody else, and I can't learn from anyone, and I have to serve my guru a cake, otherwise I'll never amount to anything in my life, then we get a kind of disjointed idea of what spiritual instruction is and where it comes from. We should take instruction even from the mountain and the tree and so forth. If our intelligence, Krishna tells a story to Uddhava, if the intelligence is sharp enough, you can learn from everyone. And that comes back to being somya, or submissive, to hear Krishna's voice within everyone and everywhere. Devavrata Prabhu, please go right ahead.
Hare Krishna. I wanted to understand this nuance. I'm reading Chasing Rhinos with the Swami right now, and I noticed that there's palpable way in which books like that, and like Transcendental Diary, and devotees who were with Prabhupada day in and day out, and how they were able to see how Prabhupada would deal with each situation. And I'm just thinking there's actually a lot of value in that, because sometimes we may have the Vani, but then the nuance as to how that's applied according to time, place, and circumstance may escape us due to just a lack of realization. So could you speak about just the other side? A lot of this has been speaking about the sound vibration, how powerful it is, but how can we actually develop the intelligence to understand how to apply those instructions in nuanced ways, in the way that the guru would want it to be carried out in any particular time, place, and circumstance on a practical level?
Sure, I'll try to say something about that, but first I think someone should take a screenshot, because that's a very nice image of you. It's kind of sublime. Could you do that? Anybody? Screenshot? He won't take a screenshot of himself, I guarantee you. Okay, so yeah, just try to snap it. Yeah, we live and learn in association. Prabhupada mentions how he had, in the early days of meeting his spiritual master. His spiritual master was there sitting on a couch. Prabhupada came and sat on the couch. More godbrothers came in. Prabhupada was a newcomer to the Gaudiya Math, and they all sat on the ground. And then Prabhupada realized, I'm sitting up, they're all sitting down. In that moment, he learned a valuable lesson. He recounts that I sat on the same level of my spiritual master. But again, he learned it through association with his god siblings and the environment that he was in. It's an environment that is meant to bring us to the right mood and methods of worshiping Krishna. And so we have to learn from that by being submissive. And so that was your question, right? How do we come to that point of understanding the right mood and method of worshiping? And also, if there are god brothers of your spiritual master who are advanced and you see how they interact. We had very, very little of that because there was only Prabhupada and then the rest of us. And however, there were circumstances where Prabhupada associated, for instance, with the Kinshana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, with His Holiness Sridhar Maharaj, B.R. Sridhar Maharaj of Navadvip, and so forth. And the devotees were very observant of how Prabhupada interacted with, Prabhupada can be friends with people. We didn't know that. And it kind of had to be there. I remember I was really surprised in 1976, I was in Potomac, Maryland, and Prabhupada came there, and I came back from my service, and somebody said Prabhupada wants to go, it was the bicentennial, and Prabhupada wants to go downtown and see the fireworks. And I thought, wow, I didn't know you could do that. And it was a revelation that you could look at the world and see. I'm just pointing out that there are pieces of the puzzle that come together in association with advanced devotees and seeing how they relate. It's also an important point that Shastra makes, that one should have awed reverence for the spiritual master, but should also have a sense of friendship. Both those elements should be there. And an analogy for that is a fire. If you get too close to the fire, you get burned. If you stay too far away, you don't get the benefit of the heat and light. So you have to be closer. If you want to restate your question, if I haven't hit it yet, that would be helpful.
No, I think you're touching it, but I guess the point is that you often speak about how you appreciate the association of like Giriraj Swami and various devotees who had personal association, because we get to learn how did Prabhupada deal with something.
Yeah.
So in the same way, it's like we have so much Vani which we can take in, but then how do we know how to deal with things without having that personal association so closely, such as devotees like Giriraj Swami, Hari Sundar Prabhu, or Shamasundar?
I got it. That's the parampara. That's why we should take advantage of it. It's not just Veda base. You know, some people say, I got Prabhupada Veda base, and I did allude to answers are there in Prabhupada's books, but you're going to miss a lot in between. And what you're going to get, since the generation's crossing over now, a lot. We're not crossing over. It's, there are devotees disappearing day by day. I had this experience when I wrote Our Family Business. The best thing about writing that book was I had an excuse to call everyone in the world and say, can you talk? I got to interview you. And I was talking to lots of godbrothers and godsisters that I'd never known before. I never took the time because we were busy for a long time. And so just taking an hour, 2 hours, sometimes multiple sessions, and hearing from them, straight from them about, Prabhupada said that? Really? He did that? He did that? Some of it's in the books that we're reading now, from Shamasundar Prabhu, from Mukunda Goswami. We have Yogeshwara Prabhu's book. It's worth reading those to find the nuance. But if you have the opportunity to associate with senior devotees, you take advantage of it. For the most part, some people have gone sour or just become ultra critical, I don't recommend it that you hear from. But if there are those who have maintained spiritual etiquette throughout their lives and who were there with Prabhupada, you can get an opportunity to hear from them. You get that kind of nuance that you might not get anywhere else, and that's parampara. Those devotees who had association with Prabhupada, who were trained by him, have a lot to offer us. And those who were trained by those devotees have a lot to offer us too. And that's how the parampara comes together. There's a congealment of all of those elements that come together to make us aware of how to walk properly in devotional service and make advancement. And those are very important. So it's so important for us to welcome advanced devotees to come here. For instance, it's palpable, it's in the air now, right? And because we want to see somebody who's walked the path, we also want to hear what they say, they want to see how they drink water, whatever it is, that's parampara. You want to be there for that. And there's so much. Lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. You can, just by being there as much as possible, then you can get it. Okay, we're at 1. Okay, I'm going to give really short answers from now on.
I wanted to get a confirmation and also your opinion on something which I feel very strongly about is if we cannot serve our spiritual master or devotees, how can we serve Krishna? Is that a right way to think? Because one day we are going to serve Krishna, and if we didn't practice in this life to serve others, especially the spiritual master, how can we serve Krishna? Is that right?
In your question, how can we serve Krishna? You're saying, if I'm interpreting your question properly, you're saying if we don't take the opportunity to become the servant of the servant in this lifetime, how are we going to serve Krishna properly?
Yes.
And the implication is that we won't know how to serve Krishna properly.
Yes, because if we haven't practiced now, how can we do it when we reach the spiritual world?
Absolutely, I agree. Krishna says in the Adi Purana, one who says that they are my servant, they are not my servant. One who says, I'm the servant of Krishna's servant, that's my servant. So that's the mood. You can read the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Every devotee that Narada approaches said, not me, him or her, and keep tracing back. You get to Radharani, and Radharani says, me? No, all these other devotees. So that's the mood. That's the proper mood, yes. Okay, we're going this way. Okay, Hanspriya, and then we'll go to Krishna Dave, then we're going to the big screen, and then Vaikuntha Nayak. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So my question is, I'm trying to understand the proximity in the terms of, I lost my spiritual master, and I try to, in my daily practices, try to feel his presence. And when you're working on that, and then you have now Gurudev is visiting, Radhanath Swami Maharaj is visiting, and I'm trying to take advantage of all the association that I can get from the gurus. And at the same time, I'm trying to take advantage of that presence. Somehow I'm feeling more gap actually of missing my spiritual master. And we are going through the decade of losing many Srila Prabhupada disciples. So in these terms, I feel the gap has grown in my heart. So is this something my emotions that needs proper direction, or is this something the weakness in my practice in sadhana? I'm just trying to see how we can cope with this. And is this something real, or is...
Well, Prabhupada talks about how to cope. Thank you for such an important question. In the story of Puranjana, at the very end of that pastime, he talks about how after the spiritual master leaves the world, one should carry on the mission that the spiritual master started, or the instruction. And also one should cry when the spiritual master leaves the world, feeling bereft. But doesn't mean then we should then become inactive. Rather, Tirobhav, the disappearance of the spiritual master, is mentioned by our acharyas as the time during which we actually take the test. We got what we got, and there's still more from the life example, but now we have to live it ourselves. We have to internalize it and carry it forward. There's great advantage in service and separation. When we feel that separation, paradoxically, we're actually very close in that mood. And Lord knows you took advantage as much as possible during this lifetime of going to see His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Anyone I know, I mean, the frequent flyer miles you got from it, always, you jumped on a plane anytime you could get the opportunity and go there. So you have, on that side, nothing to lament. You took advantage. And now the main point is to carry on. And we're never separated, because it is a spiritual process, and those are spiritual emotions. They're not for the physical body. They're for the association of someone who represents Krishna for us in this world. So carry on the way you are. Make your life perfect by following the instruction, and you'll never be separated in this life or the next. Okay, Krishna Dave, and then I'm going to Mysore. Okay.
I have a question about distraction. Is distraction fully our choice? There are material modes of nature and external environments and reactions to past karma, which may not be our choice. So how can, or seemingly not be our choice, how can we develop single-pointed focus and following instructions from Guru?
So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma kartaram iti manyane. Then he says, Tattvavitu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayo guna guneshu vartanta iti matva nasajite. It's a contrast in profiles. One person is overwhelmed by the modes of material nature. And by the way, karma means that we're impelled to do things because of what's in our mind. We've collected them there. And those are where the modes are represented, because we're pushed towards, we're predisposed to push towards certain sense objects and circumstances because of our past association. However, tattvavit tu mahabaho, when one becomes aware of one's circumstance, tattvavit tu mahabaho guna karma vibhago, and understands how the modes are being manipulated by the modes, and takes the process of devotional service to rise above them, to the degree that we come to sattva gun, to that degree we can express our free will and not be encumbered by the modes. Evidence, raga dvesha vimuktaistu vishayan indrayashcharan atmavashara videyatma prasadam adhigacchati. Krishna says this in the Gita, that those who adhere themselves to the regulative principles of freedom, he calls them, then gets the full mercy of the Lord. So you can rise above the impulses of the senses. Boy, there's so much to say about that, but I have to keep it brief. But it's a good question, and I think we should talk about it more later. You can bring it up again. And for the close, we have none other than Vaikuntha Nayaka coming all the way from Mysore, where Mysore Pak is flowing. Hare Krishna. How's all my little friends at the palace? Did you go see my friends at the palace?
I will do so, Maharaj.
Go ahead.
I did do that. So, Maharaj, my question was, today we discussed many shlokas about submissive hearing, and the importance of it, how Brahma also mentions this. It's been there. It's one of the fundamental tenets. Um, and you talked about our relationship with Krishna. You mentioned that it will be revealed to us in the due course of time. And I thought this was enough. Just hearing Shravanam Kirtanam would be good enough. That was my understanding. But then recently I came across one purport by Srila Prabhupada where he said that, I think it's where he's describing about maybe the Damodar pastime. The purport actually, he writes that those who want to cultivate a Vatsalya Bhav with the Lord should meditate on Yashoda Mata. Like, so I thought it's so. This would it be too premature? Is it only for advanced devotees, or just at whatever state I am in, just hearing the basics, the philosophy, is that good enough? If you could kindly tell about this.
Well, if you revisit the purport Nama Rupa Charitari Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Sanamanasi Niyoja Tishtan Vraje Tananuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayed Akilamiti Padesha Saram. Prabhupada paraphrases Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's instruction about this verse. It begins with Shravanam, yes, because you have to hear sufficiently. And regarding what we have or what we need to make advancement, Prabhupada points out in the Payovrata section of the Bhagavatam. Remember that? I think I talked about it a few weeks ago. Or maybe it's years or months, I don't know. But in any case, in that section, the Payovrata vow has many details about what she had to practice in order to become purified by it. It's an arduous process, to say the least, of everything she had to do. Then we come to the end, near the end, and Prabhupada points out, in our ISKCON program, we're already doing all these things. We sometimes forget that. People say, well, what about, I have to go there. In Lowy Bazaar, there's a bookshop, and they have a whole wing that they only let certain people into. And I need to go there to get that. Well, if you take advantage of what you have, if you pray to Tulsi Devi that, please, I would like to be among your servants of the divine couple, and you observe Damodar Vrata every day. Prabhupada had us sing these beautiful prayers. I mean, who isn't moved by those? Just hearing the tune that we sing them in, it brings all of us back to that time of where we're offering lamps. This is Ruchi. Prabhupada was in a class in Los Angeles, and he stopped midway through and he said, all of you have Ruchi. And everyone was kind of stunned. And then he said, I come here every day and I say the same things. And yet you come every day and listen to me. And he said, this means taste. Thing is, everything's there. If it's what's missing is our appreciating capacity. And if we get that, then yes, of course, we'll tishtan raje tananuragi jananagami. There's a time when we genuinely are impelled to listen to certain pastimes about Krishna or Mother Yashoda and so forth. But prematurely doing it doesn't mean anything. All our acharyas have said that. In fact, was it Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj pointed out that a woman who had, a young woman who was not even married, and she was in a maternity ward, and she heard in the next room a mother giving birth, and she was crying out during the childbirth. So the young woman went home, and she started crying out in the same way. And said, what are you doing? It's like, I heard it, I want to have a child. It's like, that's not how it works. So in a similar way, we may want to achieve something, but there's the way in which we achieve it. Why did Srila Bhaktisiddhanta write the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? And why are there chapters? Why not just do whatever you want and achieve perfection? I mean, one might say Srila Rupa Goswami wrote chapters, and there's subheadings to every chapter, and there's explanation of each part. Well, if you're also spontaneous and you just want to invent something, Shruti Smriti Paranadi Pantrat Triki Vidambina Aikantiki Harer Bhakti Upatayaiva Kalpate. Rupa Goswami also says, if you start inventing your own thing rather than following that which is given by the Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, etc., then you become a disturbance to everybody else. So that's the answer, is follow the process. I heard Prabhupada's godbrother Sridhar Maharaj once say about how it came up about, it was one of the Goswami literatures. He said, I have not entered into that. He said Guru Maharaj would not let us read that. He said, but it's of no matter to all of us, because we have everything to equip us to enter within that. Does that help?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
Thank you.
It's
basics.
Good to,
great to see you. We're missing you down there. So we should come to the end, because now we have a presentation. Yes, and a word from our sponsor. Right. Speaking of Srila Rupa Goswami, I have some amazing news. Please come in, Mayank. Mayank Prabhu is an amazing servitor. He's been working on multiple projects for years and doing such great service. One of the services he's been doing lately is working on with our team, Marketing, Communications, Innovations. We've been working directly with Devamrita Swami and a group of editors who have, anyway, you go ahead. Mayank's good. Now listen, please.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I'm super excited and really ecstatic to be standing here and presenting the 5-volume upcoming full set of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu from BBT. All of us know about Nectar of Devotion, right, which is a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu from Srila Rupa Goswami. And now, after years and years of dedicated service by the scholars of BBT, we now have in front of us something really fascinating. Publication of this scope and stature has not been done by BBT in past 24 years, and you will learn more about why that is the case. And I have a few more interesting slides to present here. But I would like everyone to note this website name, and there will be a quiz at the end, so please pay attention. The sets are definitely going to be limited, so only devotees who will answer the quiz will get them. So here we go. Next up, as I was speaking before, Prabhupada opened the doorway.
A little closer.
Closer, okay. Srila Prabhupada opened the doorway with Nectar of Devotion, which is a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we all know from Chaitanya Charitamrita, spoke with Srila Rupa Goswami for over 10 days and planted the seed of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The BBT's 5-volume edition now allows devotees to enter more fully into that original ocean while remaining connected to Srila Prabhupada's doorway. So, from the project manager of this monumental publication, His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj, he says that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu takes you to the mountain top and lets you see what's on the other side. So this is going ahead. I would like to share a story that I heard while talking to, again, Devamrita Swami Maharaj. This is the story of November 1977, when he received the final translations of Bhaktivedanta purports from Srila Prabhupada of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 13th chapter, as we all know. And he said, I started crying, knowing that is the last chapter of the Bhaktivedanta purports. And his thought at that moment was that, would we ever see again Shastra of this high quality, the gold standard of the Shastra that Srila Prabhupada had given us? That was his initial reaction. Yet decades on, as we have all seen, Srila Prabhupada's servants have continued producing Shastras that are accurate, substantial, and respected by scholars worldwide. So that is in the mood with which this work has been uptaken by BBT. So as I was saying, this has taken over 10 years of dedicated service, a labor of love, and we know that the last major publication of this stature was Brahad Bhagavata Amrita, which was published in 2002. So if anybody can here tell me how many years it has been since 2002, you will get your set. That's very good. So this edition began with, as some of us might know, Bhanu Swami's trailblazing edition that was published a few years back. But this has been further expanded and refined to the BBT standard. Sanskrit precision. So we know that while translating the commentaries, especially of our acharyas like Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, it is not a straightforward matter. And I'm just repeating, I'm a messenger here, repeating what the experts have told me, that even a small cha or api can change the meaning of the commentary. So the Sanskrit editors here trained under Gopi Pranadhana Prabhu for over many years, and they every day read commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam by our acharyas for many years to train, to absorb their mind and their heart into these commentaries to be able to understand them. And with that years of dedication and absorption in these commentaries, finally they were able to also give us these commentaries in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The English clarity is top-notch. The English and Sanskrit editors worked hand in glove together to make this happen. And this is not a rushed edition, as you can see. This is of the highest standard. It has all the indexes, everything is cross-checked, there are multiple notes, and this has not been rushed in any way. And most importantly, it includes Srila Prabhupada's translations and commentaries for the first 25 verses. Some of us might know or might not know, but Srila Prabhupada started writing his commentaries on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and he did that for the first 25 verses, and then he stopped for some reason. But we have that treasure now. And the team has followed in Srila Prabhupada's footsteps. As he translated, they did the same. So here are the 5 volumes. Originally, Srila Rupa Goswami wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in 4 divisions: Eastern, Southern, Western, and Northern. Because 2 of the divisions are slightly longer, overall we have 5 volumes here, following in the same mood. They have, as we know from Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, they have the Sanskrit verses, Roman transliteration, word by word meaning, Kriya translations, Acharya commentaries, even insights from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Jiva Goswami, and supplementary notes. And no scholarly book is complete without indexes. So it does include comprehensive indexes. Finally, I invite you again to sign up on shastramandalabook.com. It's a book club specifically created for lovers of Srila Prabhupada's literature, and it's inauguration of a long endeavor that we are on, starting with Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There will be further publications of the literatures written by the 6 Goswamis, and the book club members will receive the first access. As I had mentioned, that the quantities of these sets will be very limited. So if you want it, you would want to sign up right now. So here comes the part of the quiz. how many original volumes were written in Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami? Yes. 4. Are you sure? All right, all of you get the set in this room. Thank you very much again, and it's been my pleasure to announce this set. Gurudev, would you like to say a few words?
Shastra Mandala is an organization we started specifically for make a pipeline for those who want the Goswami literatures. And we've been advertising for this over the last year or so. And we have, how many now members? Over 1,000? We have 1,000 members. This helps us to predict how many volumes we're going to need to print, because when you print a set with 5 books, it's a big investment. So we want to be very clear about that. In fact, just in earnest now, today, we're starting to recruit those who want to join Shastra Mandala. If you're in Shastra Mandala, it's before we have our annual general meeting coming up in a few weeks. That's when we're going to decide how many to print. That's why he's saying it's really important to get in now. Tell you what I'm going to do for you. Now, sign up, get in, and then you're in that pipeline. So those who want it should be in the Shastra Mandala. Those who want it and they're not may or may not get one. And that goes for all the other books that are coming out. We have Jaiva Dharma ready to come out. There's several other books. We have a long list, and this is an ongoing project from the BBT to bring these out in pristine condition. Okay? So everyone should sign up, I think, because you're going to want it. Yes?
We are working upon it. You have to pay $100 fees first. I'm just kidding. So yes, definitely more and more communication and features, limited features like exclusive classes with senior devotees and discussions on these shastras will be held. So all the members would get those links, and most importantly, you will also get a link when the pre-order is ready. So you will get an email with the link of how to pre-order your set.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, I'll relay it.
Since I did not get the email back, I signed up 10 times.
He signed up 10 times. Really?
We took that edge case into account.
It's part of the algorithm.
Currently, the cost might be between $10 to $15, but don't quote me on that. And the expected release date is somewhere around Janmashtami or Radha Ashtami. There are a lot of unknowns, but I'm just sharing.
It's not
what
going to
we
be
know
$10 or
so
$15. I bet. I was just strike that. Pretend you never heard that.
Okay.
Huh? Okay, if it is, he'll take the 10 cent sets. We don't know the price yet, for sure. It's not established, but it doesn't matter because it's worth it at any cost. Don't worry about it. We have to go. If you have any more questions, talk to Mayank Prabhu, or we have a communication system through Shastra Mandala. They can communicate. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, if you so desire, please let us be submissive to your instructions and the instructions of your pure devotees, so we may serve you in ever increasingly more refined ways. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please say Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpadavascha kripasindhaveva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. This goes in my bag.
Hare Krishna. We do have Kaishora presentation, so please do watch out for that in a couple of seconds. So, Vaikuntha Nayak Prabhu had a very important question, and Maharaj mentioned about how worship of Tulsi Devi helps us connect a lot of those missing points in our devotional service. And interestingly, we have a very elaborate presentation on the topic of why is Tulsi Devi dear to Krishna? And that will be presented by Atharva today. Come on, Atharva. I look forward to hearing from you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today I speak on the topic, Why is Tulsi dear to Krishna? From the book Secrets of Bhakti by His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. There is a very famous sloka in the Bhagavad Gita 9.26 where Krishna says, Phalam toyam, I forgot the sloka. But
Patram pushpam.
Yeah, Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Which means, if one offers me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. When Krishna says leaf, he usually points out to the tulsi leaves. So before we get into any stories, let's see who Tulsi actually is. She is the most sacred plant in both Vaikuntha and Vrindavan. She is the ruling queen of Vrindavan, as you can see in the photo to the right, where she is in goddess form. She is dearer to Krishna than even goddess Lakshmi, where Prabhupada explains that in Srila Bhagavatam 3.16.43 purport. He says that sometimes Lakshmi Devi has to leave to give pleasure and opulence to her devotees, but Tulsi Devi is always in Krishna's garland and at his lotus feet. As you can see in the tilak also, there's Krishna's lotus feet, and then there's the Tulsi leaf at the bottom. Her fragrance is transcendental, so only people with a pure heart who give devotion and actually care about their spiritual life, they can only smell the transcendental smell of Tulsi. And all the flowers of Vaikuntha respect Tulsi for her pure heart and devotion to Krishna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Tulsi is Lord Krishna's potency for performing pastimes. Now let's look at a quick story of the four Kumaras. Sanak, Sanatan, Sanat, and Sanat Kumar were powerful sages completely determined to the impersonal Brahman realization, which means that they believed that Krishna didn't have any form. When they went to Vaikuntha and opened the doors, they smelled the aroma from Vishnu's feet of Tulsi, because Tulsi is always at the lotus feet of Krishna. When they were changed by the fragrance of Tulsi's smell from the lotus feet. The key lesson is that Tulsi's fragrance has the power to melt even the most intellectual heart and awaken pure love for Krishna, as we saw in this story. Now, let's take a look at a different story about Haridas Thakur. Many people might know Haridas Thakur as a famous Namacharya who chanted 300,000 names of the Lord every day, about 192 rounds. Because of this, many people were envious of him and sent a professional prostitute to try to distract and defame him. When she came, Haridas Thakur said that he will satisfy her after completing his daily rounds. The prostitute came for 2 nights straight and sat there, but Haridas Thakur was not done with his chanting. Because of sitting next to the pure Tulsi and hearing the Harinam from a pure devotee, her heart changed and she gave up her sinful profession. The key lesson here is that Tulsi purifies even the most fallen soul. No past disqualifies a sincere heart that takes her shelter, as we saw in this story. The next story is about Mrigari the hunter. From sea to sea, that means cruelty to compassion. Mrigari was a very cruel hunter who took sadistic pleasure in half-killing animals and watching them suffer. When Narad Muni saw this, he decided to guide him into becoming a devotee. He gave the hunter 3 simple instructions: grow a tulsi before your house, water and circumambulate her every day, and chant the Harinam. The result was that he became so gentle that he would not even harm an ant. As you can see in the first photo, he's half killing animals and taking pleasure. But in the second photo, he has had a change of heart and bowing down to his spiritual master. Let's take a look at the last story in this presentation. How Tulsi brought the Lord to the earth. Krishna is very affectionate and sells himself to devotees who offer him merely a tulsi leaf and a palmful of water. Yes, you heard me right. If you offer a palmful of water and a tulsi leaf to Krishna with pure devotion, he will sell himself to you. Advaitacharya saw that in Kali Yuga, everyone was engulfed in self-gratification and was not remembering God. With a heartbroken heart, he started praying to Krishna and with offering tulsi leaves and a palmful of water. As a result, what happened was that Krishna took a form and descended as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to this earth. The fourth key lesson is that a sincere offering of tulsi can compel the Supreme Lord himself to respond and even descend, as we saw in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let's take a look at the conclusion. Taking shelter of tulsi. Let's look at the 3 things that tulsi does. She purifies. Anyone, regardless of the past, who serves Tulsi is sincerely purified and elevated, as we saw in the story of the prostitute. She transforms. Her fragrance, her presence, and her connection to Krishna transforms even the most hardened hearts, as we saw in the story of Mrigari the hunter. She connects. Offering tulsi to Krishna with love is the simplest, most powerful act of devotion, as we saw what Advaitacharya did to try to bring Krishna to this earth as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What we devotees should do after listening to this presentation: we should grow a tulsi plant, water her daily, circumambulate her, offer to Krishna, and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Maharaj is sure. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Were you named after the Atharva Veda?
Yeah.
It shows.
Thank you.
You're sadhu-esque. And I was curious about your own growing of tulsi at home. Do you have any sadhana where you take care of tulsi at home, water tulsi?
Well, since we moved, we haven't really got a tulsi because the weather gets really hot, and we know that tulsi is a sensitive plant because of our past experiences. We grew tulsis, and then she needed sunlight, and then in Fremont it's usually not as hot, but like in Mantika, it's hotter, like a lot hotter. So we had Tulsi, and then we had a greenhouse that we grew her in, and then unfortunately she passed away because of an infection, like with the white bugs that got on her.
So it might not have been the heat.
Huh?
It might not have been the heat. It might have been the white bugs.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, because Tulsi is one of those plants that needs more sunlight to grow.
Yeah, she'll like the hot weather. Like Vrindavan's really hot, but
Yeah.
mostly she withers in the cold. When Vrindavan gets really cold, white bugs can be a problem. Your talk was comprehensive and inspired me to worship Tulsi. We're worshiping Tulsi, but it brought my attention to the importance. And I was curious of what your method was for putting this together, because you appeared well rehearsed. You were speaking about the topic with seeming ease. So how did you do it?
So, well, like, there was a story, as I mentioned at the first slide, if I can pop up. So, well, it's cut off, but at the top it said that I got it from the book Secrets of Bhakti by His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. So it was like an 8-page story of it, and that really helped me. And then I used the internet to like find like trusted sites that actually like had facts about Tulsi, and then I created a slideshow about it.
How old are you?
I'm 12.
You're very articulate.
Thank you.
I liked when you said you found trusted sites. That's very astute, that when you look around you have to find trusted sites. How did you know they were trusted?
Like sites that we used in Sunday school, like Veda Base.
Makes sense. You're really good. You have a huge future for teaching, holding forth in public. You have a good profile. I think people will be really attracted to you just looking at you, and also when they hear you speak, they're going to be impressed. I personally feel, this is just my opinion, that you should continue in this way, studying these things and presenting them, because I'd like to come back and hear more of what you have to say.
Sure.
So please keep up the good work.
Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And then,
thank you, Maharaj. Do you
I think this one that you had a question.
Okay.
It's okay? All right.
There's the mic if you would like. It's come to your place anyway.
Could you show the next slide, please?
The next slide.
I never realized that Tulasi exists as a plant in Vaikuntha and Vrindavan. I thought she's in Vrindavan as her Vrinda Devi form.
She's in both. Like, in the jungles you can find Tulsi, and then she's also like in goddess form, as we see in the photo. Well, this photo is, I think, from Radhakund in Vrindavan.
Right, that makes sense, because when Govardhan Hill was getting offerings, the Tulasi leaf was offered in the end. Thank you very much.
Just a small correction. This picture is actually from Nandagaon.
Oh.
Vrinda Devi, Vrinda Kund in Nandagaon. Yes. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you so much, Atharva. I just want to appreciate that he has very devotional parents. Premriti Prabhu drives him from Manteka every Sunday just so that he can attend Sunday school. And also, when we had our Sunday school annual day and we had our rehearsals, I remember we had a situation near the restrooms and I was busy here and I could not attend to that. And Prabhu spontaneously just helped clean up, and it was just heart-touching for me because I was stretched then, and he just stood up without even me asking him. And I really am grateful to you, Prabhu, for all that you do and your service attitude. And to Atharva's mother, Raseshwari Rani Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, for all that you do for raising him. With that, I'll hand over for the next part, which is announcements, I think.
Pavani Bhakti.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Just want to remind you that bhakticommunity.com is the place where you would invite any newcomers that you meet today during book distribution, or if you have forgotten about that, just bring them again to Bhakti Community. And what happens when you join Bhakti Community, there was there's a story that Achyut Balram Prabhu, you all know him, he's very famous. His husband of Yashoda Priya. And he gave book to someone at Bay Area, and that someone didn't even live in the Bay Area. And her name was Barbara, and there she is, and today she is Bhakti Rasa. And since she joined Bhakti Community, it just changed her life from Barbara to Bhakti Rasa. She lives in Atlanta. She was given a book by Achyut Balram. And she now is at a level where she, from East Coast, attends our Bhagavatam reading every day up until midnight, because it's 10:30 her time. We start at 7:30. She starts at 10:30. We go about 2.5 hours, and she's stuck with us, and her life has transformed. I just want to hear from her a few things that she can talk about Bhakti Community.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. It's always good to be here. This is home for me. And that started with Achyuta Balaram. And also just everyone here, because you've all come into my heart in some way or another, and just to see your smiling faces. But that's what this community is all about, is coming together in whatever way we can in service. And I wouldn't have that opportunity if it wasn't for the Bhakti community. So it's been a wonderful journey, and I'm still progressing. But I encourage everyone to check into Bhakti community, and you'll never regret it, for sure. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Just wanted to give some updates on the book distribution drive that we are doing. As we all know, that we have a goal to distribute 100,000 8 Srimad Bhagavatam sets by Bhadra Purnima, which is on September 26th. And just wanted to report that devotees are really excited about this campaign, and wanted to share a couple of updates here. And as part of that goal, here at ISV, we have a goal to distribute at least 7,301 Srimad Bhagavatams only by Bhadra Purnima. And some are asking why so less compared to 100,008. I was talking to one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples at Sadhu Sangha recently when we went. And she told me that 100,008 Srimad Bhagavatam set is too less, because there are billions of people population in this world. So compared to that, this is very less. So that's a mood that devotees are having. And we also have discussed earlier that we want more devotees to become book distributors. I wanted to share some story that, I don't know if you all know Laksh, right? Our youth, Laksh. We just gave a challenge to a few of the devotees, go and try and see if you can inspire someone to distribute a Srimad Bhagavatam set. So he went and he reached out to some of his friends. And one of his friends came back and said that, I don't know if I can distribute a set myself, but I know a person whose contact I can give it to you, and maybe you can try to talk to them. And he got a referral for Srimad Bhagavatam set. And Laksh went and talked to that referral, that person, and they took a full set of Srimad Bhagavatam. All he did was he just tried, and they took a Srimad Bhagavatam. And we also have some videos of how to distribute a Bhagavatam set on the street. That is done by Anupam Prabhu from New York. And we have more in the pipeline coming. And not only that, this Sadhu Sangha, we met some very nice people at the table. One person was from the university in that local area. And actually, he's from UT Austin, who happened to be in that place. He just came to the book table. And he said that he has seen Bhagavad Gita before. I think, Kameshwari, you talked to him. He said he has a Bhagavad Gita before. And then he asked, what other things do you have? And then we showed the full set of Srimad Bhagavatam. He's just a student. And he didn't have much space in his dorm to put this full set of Srimad Bhagavatam. But he took the digital copy of Srimad Bhagavatam and he said he's really interested in reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he took a set. In total, so many devotees were engaged at the table, like almost there was no space for devotees to stand at the table. So in total, we collected $26,500 at Sadhu Sangha in just those 2 days. And all the Lakshmi that we collected, it is going to give sets to students in different universities who want to have a Srimad Bhagavatam, but they cannot afford. They're only paying partial, and some to different parts of South America where they need it. So please participate in this drive. It's really fun, and I think you'll really enjoy giving a set of Srimad Bhagavatam to someone. So you can start thinking on who all can be a book distributor in future, because whoever participates in this kind of book distribution drive, they are actually helping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relieve his anxiety and bringing people closer. And thank you so much for listening. Hare Krishna.
Sharira Vijajal Jodendriya Tahikal Jivebele Vishashagare Tadmade Divaiti Lobomoy Sudurmati Takejita Katina Shangshare Krishna Bharadayamoy Koribare Jivajay Shaprashad and Adilobai Shenamrita Pao Radha Krishna Gunagao Preme Dako Chaitanya Nitai Ma Prashade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Salpa Punya Vatam Rajan Vishwa Sona Vijayate Prasade Sarva Tukkanam Hanirasyo Pachayate Prasana Chetaso Yashu Budipaya Pratishtite Tvayopa Putta Sraganda Vasavankara Charchitaha Uchishta Bojino Dasas Davamayam Jaimani Shukham Prayushitam Bhapi Nityam Badura Deshata Prapti Matrena Bhoktavyam Natra Kala Vicharana Nadesha Niyamastatra Nakala Niyamastata Prapta Manam Natam Shushta Bhoktarin Hari Madhurve. Taking prasadam is the most joyful and perhaps the most sacred of all our practices in Bhakti Yoga. So please take your full satisfaction and invite everybody for the next time. Gaur Premanande Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Please come take prasadam. Go straight out this door, take a sharp right.